If you're over 60, every single bite you put in your mouth, every habit you've built up over the years, every food you think is healthy, can directly influence your heartbeat. I know it may seem exaggerated, but let me ask you a direct question. What if I told you that some of the vegetables you eat every day, the very ones you believe are your health's best allies, can, in some cases, slow down your heart instead of protecting it? As a cardiologist, I often see elderly patients in my office who are proud of their diet. They eat salads, cut down on sugar, avoid fried foods. Yet something is still wrong. The heart is tired, blood pressure is unstable, medications seem less effective. What's going on? What happens is that some vegetables, if consumed incorrectly or in combination with certain medications, can silently contribute to the worsening of cardiovascular health. Some increase blood pressure, others interfere with life-saving medications, and still others may contain bacteria that the immune system, after a certain age, struggles to defend itself against. In this video, I want to make a plea. If you are over 60, stop consuming these 5 vegetables the way you are doing now, or at least change the way you prepare them. I will walk you through each vegetable step by step, explaining why it can be risky and how you can replace it or cook it in a way that is safer for your heart. The good news is that these risks are avoidable. It just takes a little knowledge and a little attention. So stay with me until the end, because the first vegetable we talk about is probably already in your refrigerator right now. And while you're at it, immediately like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. This way, you won't miss any of the next videos dedicated to wellness in old age. Before we begin, I want to involve you directly. Write in the comments, "I protect my heart," and may it become your personal commitment to take better care of your heart, starting today. A few sincere words are enough to start a change. 1. Spinach, when a heart medicine becomes ineffective. Spinach has always been considered a symbol of healthy eating. Rich in iron, full of fiber, light. Who has never recommended it? Yet, for those over 60 and taking heart medications, spinach can turn into a silent threat. As a doctor, I have met dozens of patients who thought they were following the perfect diet, but who were actually unwittingly sabotaging the benefits of their medications. The reason is simple, but little known. Spinach contains a very high amount of vitamin K, which is essential for blood clotting. But here's the problem. If you take anticoagulants, such as warfarin, prescribed after a heart attack or ischemia, an excess of vitamin K can neutralize the effect of the drug. Translated, the blood becomes thicker, increases the risk of clots, and no one notices until a serious event occurs. Many seniors feel fine and believe their therapy is working. But in the meantime, that spinach-based green smoothie or that daily salad is cancelling out the drug's protection against strokes and clots. I've seen real cases, small strokes, embolisms, sudden hospitalizations, and all because of a seemingly harmless food. Warning: spinach is not the enemy. Inconsistency is the real problem. If you want to eat it, do so in moderation and consistently, always after talking to your doctor. Any dietary changes must be evaluated based on the medications you are taking. Remember, what you eat can strengthen your therapy or, on the contrary, make it ineffective. At this stage of life, it is not enough to know which foods are healthy in general. You need to understand which ones are suitable for you, your medical history, the medications you take, your blood values, Nutrition education after 60 should be like a tailor-made suit. This also means learning to manage foods high in vitamin K, such as spinach, cabbage, and lettuce, through conscious and regular dietary planning. It is not necessary to eliminate them completely, but rather to harmonize their intake day after day so that your therapy remains stable. And do not forget that every change, even small, should be communicated to the doctor or nutritionist because the body after 60 reacts differently than before. Personalization today is the real secret to aging with health and dignity. And if spinach can disrupt the functioning of a life-saving drug, what other vegetables are hiding underappreciated dangers? The next food, often on your plate, contains more salt than a bag of chips. 2. Pickled gherkins, the salty trap that constricts the heart. Crunchy, tasty, perfect next to a sandwich. Pickled gherkins seem like an innocent addition to a meal. But for someone over 60, with a history of high blood pressure or heart problems, these little vegetables submerged in brine can become a silent and unsuspecting enemy. Many people think that a few pickles can't make a difference, but often a single serving contains over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. To give you an idea, 2/3 of the maximum daily limit recommended for an elderly person consumed in just 5 bites. And what does sodium do? It retains water in the blood, increases the volume of the blood itself, puts pressure on the heart and arteries. Over time, hypertension develops, the vessels stiffen, and the heart is overloaded. I have seen patients confused by the fact that despite exercise and a seemingly healthy diet, their blood pressure did not go down. They had eliminated fried foods, reduced alcohol, but they continued to put those pickles on the plate. They had no idea that hidden salt was the problem. And the worst thing is that the damage from sodium does not give clear signs until the heart attack or a sudden episode of heart failure arrives. After age 60, the kidneys can no longer dispose of salt as well as they once did, and the arteries become more vulnerable. Not only gherkins, but also canned vegetables and ready-made soups can hide high amounts of sodium. But sodium is not only found in gherkins, it is everywhere. Some unsuspecting foods contain high doses of it. Packaged bread, cheese, even lean cold cuts, whole grain crackers, and even some vegetable juices or industrial broths. The problem is that sodium infiltrates the diet silently, even when we think we are eating well. If you read the labels, you might be surprised by how much hidden salinity you consume every day. And when this accumulates, the heart pays the price. For this reason, I invite you to become more curious, more attentive, almost a salt detective. Choose low-sodium products, prefer fresh, cook yourself, and don't be afraid to ask your doctor if your salt consumption is adequate. Because often, true prevention comes from small daily attentions. To protect your heart, you need to go back to the kitchen. Cook at home, read labels carefully, use herbs, garlic, lemon to flavor instead of salt. It is one of the simplest but most powerful actions you can do for your heart health. But salt isn't the only hidden enemy. There's a vegetable that, while beloved for its strong flavor, can cause inflammation and silent attacks on the heart. 3. Red chili pepper, the flavor that ignites memories, but also pressure. For many of us, food is more than just nourishment. It is emotion, it is memory, it is identity, the scent of grandma's sauce, the spicy taste of a family dish, and often the protagonist is precisely it. Chili pepper, a hot spice that gives character and passion to our dishes. But be careful. After 60, the heart may no longer appreciate what it once loved. Red chili pepper, especially the dry, spicy, intense kind, stimulates the nervous system, accelerates the heartbeat, increases the release of adrenaline. In a young adult, these effects are well tolerated, but in those whose hearts have already fought battles, who have undergone operations or live with high blood pressure, even a little extra stimulus can make a difference. Literally. In my clinical work, I have seen elderly people arrive with palpitations, tightness in the chest, spikes in blood pressure, and all after a seemingly innocent meal. No one suspected the chili pepper, yet it was there, in that dusting of red powder on pasta, or in the spicy base of a traditional stew. It's not just a matter of spiciness, it's the reaction that the body activates, the vessels contract, the pressure rises, the heart is forced to work harder. And if this happens frequently, a state of chronic inflammation is created in the arteries, which wears out the vessels and increases the risk of serious cardiac events. This doesn't mean you have to say goodbye to flavors forever, but you can replace the spicy with other, more heart-friendly alternatives. Herbs, ginger, lemon, garlic in moderation, or a pinch of turmeric. Taste doesn't have to mean danger, and the comfort of a dish should never come at the cost of your health. And if a simple chili pepper can put your heart in difficulty, imagine what can happen with an ingredient celebrated for its healing properties, but which when raw can become a double-edged sword. 4. Raw garlic, when natural medicine becomes a hidden risk. Garlic has been a venerated food for centuries. We have always considered it an ally of health. It lowers cholesterol, promotes circulation, helps blood pressure. It's true, but like any medicine, garlic also has its limits and contraindications, especially after the age of 60. Many older people have gotten into the habit of eating raw garlic cloves every day on an empty stomach, believing that it will strengthen their heart. But what they often ignore is that raw garlic has a very powerful anticoagulant effect. When combined with heart medications, such as warfarin, aspirin, or other blood thinners, it can make the blood excessively thin. The risk? Internal bleeding, extensive bruising, drops in blood pressure, nosebleeds that are difficult to stop. In the hospital, I treated patients with episodes of intestinal bleeding, sudden drops in blood pressure, even fainting. And the cause was always the same. Garlic, taken raw every day, without control, along with a drug therapy. But that's not all. In high doses, raw garlic can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure. And for those who already take drugs against hypertension, this double effect can be dangerous. Dizziness, weakness, and in the most serious cases, reduced blood flow to the heart itself. All this happens without obvious signs. You feel good, you trust nature, you think you are doing something positive, and instead you are touching the limit. My advice? Don't demonize garlic, but treat it with respect. Use it cooked in small doses and only after talking to your doctor. Remember, what is natural is not always harmless, especially as we age. And now I ask you, if even a precious food like garlic can become dangerous, what about a vegetable as light as it is treacherous, which we often add raw to our salads and sandwiches? Let's find out. 5. Raw sprouts, the crunch that can break your heart. They appear fresh, vital, full of natural energy. Soybean sprouts, mung bean sprouts, alfalfa sprouts. In recent years, they have become part of the healthiest diets. Yet, for those over 60, they can hide a real and underestimated risk: infections. Sprouts are grown in warm, humid environments, ideal conditions for the growth of dangerous bacteria such as Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. In young, healthy people, food poisoning resolves with a few days of discomfort, but in elderly patients, the risk is much higher. The immune system, as we age, becomes less efficient. An intestinal infection can turn into dehydration, sepsis, or even an infection of the lining of the heart, endocarditis. I have seen elderly people hospitalized in serious condition after eating just a handful of contaminated sprouts. In some cases, these infections have worsened pre-existing heart failure, requiring long hospital stays and complex treatments. And most of the time, no one suspected sprouts. They seem so innocent, so light. But in reality, they can put a strain on an already fragile heart. For this reason, after the age of 60, sprouts should always be cooked. A short cooking is enough to eliminate bacteria and still maintain their flavor and nutritional value. At your age, the difference is not only in what you eat, but in how you prepare it. The body changes. The defenses modify. What was good for you yesterday can become a risk today. And even what seems healthy, like a sprout, can hide invisible dangers. Another aspect that is often overlooked is food hygiene. After 60, we can no longer afford distractions. Washing vegetables well, sanitizing utensils, checking expiration dates, and storing food correctly in the fridge are not just good habits. They become fundamental practices for the survival of our immune system. Even small contaminations, which went unnoticed in our 30s, can now turn into serious infections. Germs present in raw foods, sprouts, dishes left out of the fridge for too long or badly reheated are a real trap. The kitchen must become a place of awareness, not of carelessness. Invest in airtight containers. Learn to manage the freezer. Keep the fridge under control. This too is love for your heart. If even a sprout can become an invisible threat, then what about those vegetables that are not dangerous in themselves, but become dangerous in combination with the most common therapies used for the heart? Yes, there are vegetables that are harmless on their own, but when combined with certain drugs, especially anticoagulants, beta blockers, or ACE inhibitors, they can alter their effectiveness or increase their unwanted effects. The truth is that after a certain age, what we eat must be evaluated with the same rigor with which we evaluate the drugs we take. But then what can we really eat without fear of making mistakes to protect our heart and keep it strong? 6. So, what to really eat after 60 to nourish the heart. After analyzing the foods to avoid or treat with caution, the question becomes natural. Are there heart-friendly vegetables? The answer is yes. There is no need for drastic diets, extreme fads, or exotic supplements. What is needed are daily, balanced, conscious choices. There are plant foods that, cooked simply and regularly, not only do not interfere with drugs, but actually support them. We are talking about steamed broccoli, rich in antioxidants and sulforaphane, capable of reducing oxidative stress. Cooked carrots, which release beta-carotene better, useful for protecting blood vessels. Baked sweet potatoes, which provide natural potassium and fiber, helping to regulate blood pressure. Let's not forget legumes, lentils, green beans, chickpeas. They are rich in vegetable proteins, satiating, low in fat, and full of fiber that helps keep sugar and cholesterol levels stable. And then black cabbage, chard, stewed zucchini, cooked fennel, all vegetables that do not cause blood pressure spikes, do not interfere with medications, and help the intestine, which in turn is closely linked to heart health. Remember, it's not just a question of what to take away, but above all of what to add. After 60, the body needs to be pampered with foods that support it and do not stress it. And the heart, which works without ever stopping from the day we are born, deserves the best every day. I have seen patients with heart failure visibly improve simply by introducing warm, light meals full of natural colors. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. A legume soup, a portion of cooked vegetables, a warm salad with extra virgin olive oil and lemon. These are simple gestures, but they make a difference. And if you think that healthy food is sad or tasteless, you are wrong. Spices like turmeric, rosemary, sage, and nutmeg can make everything better without raising blood pressure. Even garlic, if well dosed and cooked, can remain an ally. And lemon juice is an exceptional condiment, rich in vitamin C and flavor. Your table can become your first healing tool, but to do so, you need to get rid of a sneaky habit, a habit that, by itself, can cancel out the positive effects of the best vegetables in the world. A small habit, a big danger. Here's what you need to know. The heart that never asked you for anything. Your heart beat more than 2 billion times before you turned 60. It never asked for anything in return. It pumped. It held. It sped up to make you love it. It slowed down to make you sleep. And now, for the first time, it asks for your attention. At 60, 70, 80, it's not the time to give up. It's the time to become wiser, to understand that what worked when you were 30 may not be enough today, that some vegetables, eaten raw or in excess or combined incorrectly, can hinder medications, that some eating habits consolidated over time need to be reviewed, updated, adapted to your body today. But the good news is that it's not too late. In fact, it's the perfect time to start doing better. Every little gesture can bring big results. Change the way you cook. Replace an ingredient. Listen more to your body's signals. Move a little every day. Get good rest. Drink more water. Talk to your doctor before changing anything. I have seen patients smile again, walk without breathlessness, get out of bed with energy. Not thanks to miracle cures, but thanks to perseverance, attention, awareness. They have made peace with their body. They have listened to that heartbeat that has always accompanied them. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be present with yourself, with your heart. You have to make peace with your plate, stop fighting old age, and start collaborating with your new biology. Your heart is still there, strong, resilient, full of love to offer, to you, to your family, to the time you have left. So start today. Open the refrigerator with new eyes. Look at your plate more carefully. Make your diet an act of love towards yourself. And now that we have come this far together, I want to ask you one last thing. Write me in the comments what struck you the most. What is the advice you will apply first? Your experience can inspire others. When you learn to really listen to your heart, everything changes. Not just your diet, but your attitude toward life. You realize that it is no longer time to chase perfection, but to cultivate presence. You realize that even a small step, like preparing a soup with awareness, can have enormous value. The heart becomes your emotional and physical barometer. If it beats faster when you walk or when you laugh with someone you love, it is talking to you. If it gets tired, if it makes itself heard with irregular heartbeats or tiredness, it is asking to be listened to. And you today can choose to respond to it with love, with gratitude, with simpler but more authentic choices. Revolutions are not needed. One conscious heartbeat at a time is enough. If you liked this content, like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. And if you found it useful, remember that you can support our work with a super thank you below. It's a simple gesture that helps us continue sharing valuable content for your well-being. Thank you for accompanying me this far, and I hope you live every beat of your heart as a gift, because it truly is.